Yeah, they got, well, those are nice because they're super light. One of those medical chairs. That piece of iron there, though,
They came up the old Pacific Crest Trail there with motorcycles and brought all this stuff in.
Oh, it's a riveted smokestack. Likely off of a boiler.
Yeah, they had apparently, up here they had at once they had a 5-stamp mill at the Mount Gleason. That was steam powered. Apparently the steam boiler blew up in like 1896 or something. But then I guess they brought in that ball mill later. And the Padre mine had a 2-stamp mill at one time, and then later I think they brought in a ball mill.
Well, if it exploded, that would certainly explain why this piece is in way off over here. Oh man, what have we got here? Now for poison oak. More ladybugs everywhere. Oh man, there's got to be millions of these ladybugs out here. The ground is just red with them. Looks like a truck. 246, 246. So we got a straight 6. Transmission lock. Looks like a truck because of the construction.
Yeah, there's another one up here too. I was trying to figure out if it was Oldsmobile or a couple like all kinds of different names we thought it could have been.
Usually there'd be something stamped on the block.
Oh, yeah. You gonna film that, Nicholas? The snow in the background here?
Of course I'm gonna film it. Oh, look, there's a little tag right here.
Here's the, unfortunately they tossed it off to the side.
No, it's just serial number, but it doesn't say the manufacturer.
But this guy would have gone here. Cover up the valve guides. This thing here. It's all the plugs.
Put my shirt back on.
Somebody's stolen the distributor. Take a look at the suspension. Maybe accelerator cable. It's got a kingpin suspension, so definitely from the 30s or so. Crank start.
One side it just says like old or something.
Oldsmobile maybe?
Yeah, we looked at a couple things, tried finding different.
It's a 4-cylinder.
The 20s and 30s.
Look at the water pump on this guy. And then the alternator or generator on these.
Looks like there's a big hook here, like you towed this, right?
Not so much a hook, but an axle, I think, to steer. Because look, that's a solid axle. That's a solid axle.
So is that
I think that's the only way to steer. Wow. Yeah, it's a large, it's just a large bushing. So you'd probably sit really high on top of this thing.
Like, I mean, the motor ran this thing in the back, right? Like whatever that is.
Yeah, it's got some sort of special drive. It looks almost like farm equipment. Maybe like for grading the road. Here's the radiator. Is this what I think it is? Yeah, check this out. It's a, oh, I don't think it'll spin. This is a grease pot. So you sit there, you fill it with grease, and then you spin it, and it forces grease down into the bearing, or bushing at this, in this case. Flat belt drive to run the fan.
I made it down to this part. You guys up the Allison line. I can't see it from the other side. Like right here is the only thing it says, right? Olson. I guess that would fit. It's like Olson or Molson.
Thompson or?
Yeah, there's lots of different things. So we couldn't find another piece of broken plate for that. Good thing to oil it.
Yeah, that's another grease pot. This is a clutch. Well, flywheel and clutch. Yeah. This is a flywheel. The clutch is in here.
Yeah.
It looked like
right here, right?
asbestos pads. Yeah.
Yeah.
So by pushing that lever there, you would either pull this back, and that would here's your wishbone or yoke.
Yeah.
You slide it forward. Now this guy, this looks like it's bronze for the
I see it's
for the sleeve. Then here, let's see, old lumber. Oh.
for rent.
This is the only affordable place left in California. Hey, this is an anvil off of a stamp mill. I mean, fairly heavy. Old water heater there, riveted. There's another one. Strange that those would be here. Wonder if anybody's home. Seems to be vacant.
Is that like a wetsuit or a motorcycle?
I do not want to go in there. That's a nice wheelbarrow though. Little camp stove here. Let's see if we can get over here. Oop. Ah, still a foundation. There we go. Remains of a little potbelly stove. Old growth flooring. See if we can find an end piece. Oh, try not to. That's a shame. This is beautiful old growth floor.
Yeah.
Oh. Sheer cliffs, bushwhacking. Nick, what have you gotten me into? Oh bullshit, you think that would fucking stop me? You see it? Oh, good. 'Cause I don't want to go much farther than this. Uh-oh. Why does it always come down to this? Oh shit. It was like that when I found it, honest. Oh. The man. A lot of sheet metal.
Pretty amazing work here.
Wow. It looks like there used to be a portal there.
I think this was the mill site right here.
Right here?
This is the mill site. Because look, there's got more foundations up there. See that?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's some footings right there. Have those slid or are those still where they were originally?
I'm not exactly sure. It looks like this is stacked rock right here. Got a little tear.
Okay. Oh, there's nice timber in here. I don't think this is from the local forest, so I must have brought these in. Not too bad. Looks like it opens up a fair bit. Let's just hope I don't run into any bears or anything of the sort. Okay, here, let's see. Looking back at the portal. It is very damp. Size nail, fairly soft rock. Looks like rat turds. Nothing out of the ordinary there. No air movement, although air seems clear in here, which is nice. There's a tie. So they must have had tracks at one time in here. This is quite a substantial mine. Hopefully there's more tracks a little farther in. Let's see a couple of wood wedges here. Fairly dry. Nice high ceiling. Oh, what happened here? Got 2 bolts, rods, orange markers. Like the rest of these ties are in the ground. Air line or water line. Ah, okay, looks like they had a platform here, some sort of raise. And, well, it's not looking so good. Timbers must have gotten quite soaked. It's odd. Looks like they use square set yet. They all come down. Should still be standing. Although I guess 100 years is quite a while. Yeah, pretty soft. Looks like there might be a mold growth as well. Not much of a ceiling here. Ooh, a little bit of sparkle on the walls there. Some very interesting colors. Ah, would you look at that? Quartz with large pieces of pyrite. Oh, that is neat. Another piece of pipe. Mine is starting to get noticeably moister. Moisture, I don't know if that's a word. More wet. You still see the vein that they were following, although the pyrite has diminished quite a bit. It's covered with a dust on it, likely from blasting. A lot of interesting rock formations in here. A little bit of a curve to the right here. And it looks like there's the end. It of a puddle. Anything living in it? No. Oh, we got a little bit of, is that track? No, that's another drill rod. Well, that's about it. No sign of a vein here. A few more drill holes. They may have been deciding to continue this forward or not. Altogether, an interesting little mine. 200 feet or so. Nice headroom, no ducking except for at the entrance, but the portal has collapsed slightly. Just to be expected. Now you notice the muffling of my voice here would indicate that this is fairly soft rock around here. It's probably also aided by all of these timbers here, which are like a nice soggy sponge. Looks like they had, hope I'm not on a false floor, the mucking plate over there, so it looks like they were considering driving that drift there. You can still see the square set notches and tongues on the top. And no sign of a vein up above. But I'm no miner. Timbers here are relatively dry, so I think the moisture content is mainly coming from just over there. Couple of nails in there. And I'm not sure what this was. Maybe they were storing drill bits and other tools in here for when they needed them. Looks like it's just filled with wood chips, although that could likely be due to rats making nests in here. Oh, a little bit of a low beam here. Small mushroom growths on the bottom. Again, from the moisture. That one's in pretty good condition. Aside from cracking a corner. Oh, this is a boiler.
It's a big boiler.
It's on its side. You can see that's the reservoir tank. Let's see what the baffles look like on the end. Oh.
Down here there's a boiler, a ball mill, and a bunch of other stuff.
Hey, check this out. You know what this guy is, right?
Oh, let me see. Is that the actual...
It's the shoe that fits in the boss.
Man, that's fucking awesome.
Let's see if you can see. God, that thing is fucking heavy. You can see the...
Yeah, that is it. Holy
notice
fuck,
how
man.
it's...
That's so fucking cool. You know what? Yeah, it was a 5-stamp mill. Apparently it was 30,000 pounds. Or just, it said the crown plates were 30,000 pounds.
Fucking...
And they brought it up using like a block and tackle system up
Oh,
on this
yeah.
pass. Just fucking on like sleds, basically. shit, man. It's crazy. And this
Well,
boiler, just look how massive
This
it
thing is also friggin' heavy. So, it's actually, so this is the whole water tank. There would have been a brick, building around it. You'd build the flame underneath, and then it would go out through the back, up through the plates, and then up out the stack.
What does this make at the top?
That's either part of the water tank, because remember, this thing's it's basically a water jacket. The flame, the heat of the flame moves through these tubes here. So that kind of helps heat it, but otherwise this stores your water. So let's say this tank isn't enough for the amount of heat you put into it, you'll burn off all your water to steam before, and you never want to run a boiler dry, because what happens is they call it scorching the tubes. The tubes will get red hot, and then when the new water comes into the tank via the boiler feed pump, you get superheated steam, the pressure rises completely, and then that's when you get boiler explosions.
Yeah, apparently there was an accident at this mine. Boiler did explode.
Yeah, then that's whoever was running the boiler wasn't keeping an eye on the water level, the feed pump, or something was operating improperly. Now keep in mind, back in the day, there's like no internet and training. Like if you bought a boiler, they'd deliver a boiler. They didn't care if you're certified. You're out in the woods doing whatever you want. So some guy looks at it's like, pressure relief valve? Fuck, we don't need this.
Yeah.
And the old steamboats down in Mississippi, it was very common to tie cloth over the pressure valves. That way you could get a higher pressure, a little bit more speed out of them. And that's why many times a lot of them exploded. Yes. The long shaft is the stem. The bottom part that gets basically wedged into is known as the boss.
Okay.
And that's what holds the weight.
Yeah. And the tapettes, that's the thing that
The tappet, that's what the cam hits, yes.
There's a really interesting ball mill.
Oh, this is so cool. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is about the same size as the one that was at Allison. This is about the same size as the one that was at Allison.
Alright, then it's much bigger than
Yeah, this thing is. You thought we would move this?
I don't know, I thought it was smaller. Maybe I was going based off my photos, but... Yeah, that is a fucking huge jaw crusher, man. Holy fuck, that's massive.
Woo! I think it's a wee bit big.
Yeah, so Yeah, this is definitely the Dodge Crusher because it has, first of all, it has writing on it. That seems to be Dodge's style.
Yep.
And second of all, the pivot point is at the bottom.
Yeah.
They were competing at the time with the Blake Crusher. The pivot point was at the top of the jaw. So the Blake Crushers are actually much better because all the ore comes out the bottom, and the bottom stays the same size because the pivot point's there, so it gets all choked up.
Yeah.
It does produce a more like uniform
Well, you can.
product, but
This does have an adjustable base here, because look at this guy here.
You can adjust it.
See, tying it, you could adjust your, and then you put shims behind it.
But still, you can't feed them as fast as the Blake Crushers.
Oh yeah.
They weren't as good.